Changes are coming to Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram. Today, CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced the company will be firing fact checkers and moving to community notes. Zuckerberg said too much pressure from the U.S. government and governments around the world to censor and take down posts in the last few years is stifling free speech.
We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the U.S. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
So instead of acting as arbiters of truth, he said Meta will now focus on taking down illegal content. Not everyone welcomes this move toward free speech and questions Zuckerberg's real motivations behind the move.
Tonight, Jessica Hart spoke with a media ethics and law professor who sees it as more of a political move. Jessica?
Rena, the professor I talked with, says she was surprised, not shocked. But the thing is, a lot of people get their news from social media. The professor tells me people who think social media is truthful and accurate, this change won't impact them. But for people who see it as a place where people can use and abuse information, it's a terrible change.
In the Meta world, fact-checking is out. Community notes are in.
This is like the umpteenth reset in terms of what's happening with social media in this country.
Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. The company started fact-checking on Facebook in 2016.
I am not surprised to think that this is being done in large part to try to dissuade President Trump's administration from taking any action against Meta.
Jane Kirtley, a University of Minnesota media ethics and law professor, says she thinks Mark Zuckerberg, Meta CEO, is doing this to avoid regulations.
It isn't so much content regulation under our current law. It's more a question of whether the Trump administration would use things like antitrust laws to try to affect his business model, that is, Mr. Zuckerberg's business model.
Essentially, Kirtley says Facebook and Instagram will become a free-for-all.
So my biggest concern is that without any kind of objective fact-checking, we're going to be faced with a lot of misinformation and disinformation with nothing to counter it. I think even worse is that oligarchs that control social media are going to be the ones who will decide what is true and what is false.
What's true and what's false will be up for debate in a world where community notes are in and fact-checking is out.
I personally think this is a terrible situation, very, very dangerous for us as a society.
Kirtley says the question of how useful the fact-checking function was is fair to debate. She says she wouldn't be surprised if people choose to leave the social media apps like they did with X.
All right. Thank you, Jessica.